average person spends 147 minutes on social media every single day, consuming content from people showing off their vacations, parties, and the highlights of their lives. Listen, I have been jealous of other people. Olivia Rodrigo has been jealous of other people. So much so that she even wrote a song about the experience. Everyone gets jealous and everyone deals with co-comparison because that's what makes us human. But just because it's natural doesn't mean it's good for us. And no, I'm not making this up. There are literally psychological studies done on this, which I will be referencing later on. Now, what many people don't mention is that you can reverse these thoughts. I mean, you can reprogram your brain to react differently when you come across someone with something that you want. The reason I say this confidently is because I too used to compare myself to acquaintances, influencers, celebrities, people in my general circle, people getting better grades than me, people having better genes than me. My self-worth, my self-esteem, everything revolved around other people and me in comparison to them. People who had wealthier parents or more freedom in their lives. Like, there was no end, and it would make me end up feeling quite awful. Like, honestly, it wasn't doing anything to these people. I was the one who would be feeling so terrible. But if you look at me now, I seriously cannot remember the last time I felt the need to stalk someone on social media or to really get the inside details of their lives because I'm so busy with my own now. In fact, now when I come across someone with something that I want, I say mashallah Allahumma barik, which in Arabic literally translates to God willed it. And I say this because it's like a religious thing. We say this when we genuinely don't want to give people the evil eye. And the reason for this is because of that huge mindset shift. I went from the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset, which I'll be elaborating on later on. But basically, someone having something, it doesn't take away from me. If anything, it's a sign that I noticed it, that I picked up on that thing. It's a sign that there's something in store for me as well. And I promise you, this is not delusion. There's a reason why they say you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with. When you come into contact with the people that have something that you want, like, you inevitably will grow. If you are surrounded by people who are making money, you will end up making money. Or if you end up in a group with people that are super confident, you are probably going to end up inevitably gaining confidence. I want to preface this video by saying that it is easier said than done, all of this stuff. Everyone talks about the mental aspect and the mindset shifts and everything, and I know it's cliche, I know it's exhausting to hear that all the time, so hear me out. I will not lie to you and tell you that it's easy or that it happens, in a day or even a week. I don't know how long it takes. It really depends on you as a person. What I can confidently tell you is that, yeah, the mental work that you do on yourself, it does exponentially change your life. My life, I am a living, breathing proof of this. It'll probably take work. It's not comfortable, like talking about jealousy. There's a reason why this topic is such a taboo, but it's so important. This is Discomfortable episode 5. One of the things we have to be honest about is jealousy is a disease. Jealousy, envy, co-comparison, these are diseases that eat away your own peace. So in this video, we're going to be talking about exactly how to permanently stop them from affecting you. And I'm being as careful as I can with my wording here because you can't stop jealousy. You can't stop yourself from feeling something, right? But you can stop the actions resulting from that. You can stop the train of negative thoughts stemming from those emotions. You can stop giving those thoughts power by not letting yourself go further. You will still have like an inkling of, jealousy kind of creeping in, but you immediately get to the point where you stop it. That's what I mean by permanently stopping it. I don't mean you can literally turn your emotions off. Here's the thing about jealousy. It can be caused by so many factors, but it is more likely to prey upon low self-esteem, issues such as insecurities that you may not have worked out yet, and then of course, the good old people's personal opinions, because some people just have way too much time on their hands and feel the need to comment on absolutely everything. So understanding the root of this disease, and that's what I'm going to refer to it as throughout the video, you need to address it, you need to accept it, and then we start on the really cool stuff that you can do to actually stop letting it affect you and get in your daily life. You have so much more to do with your time than be jealous of other people's success. Number 1, inspiration versus competition mindset shift edition. So the coolest part about reprogramming your brain is that the external factors in your life can be left untouched because you can't control other people, right? And with this, You don't need to. Everything you need to like switch these feelings of jealousy, self-hatred, comparison, the things that make you feel awful, you can control mindset-wise. You literally don't need anything else. So I want you to imagine a switch in your brain flicking on and off. One side of the switch says inspiration and the other side says competition. Which one do you choose? Do you kind of see how at the end of the day, it's a bit of a choice? Like, yes, you can't control who you feel jealous of, right? Once that emotion comes in and that trail of thoughts that ensues, that's when you can take over as long as you train yourself well. Say you come across someone with more financial success than you, someone who has like a really cool job in a field that you're trying to get into. This is a particular situation where this is so much harder, right? Because at the end of the day, when you are working in the same field with certain people, to an extent you are in a competition, but you're also not. Let's just say you're trying to run a business in the same area as this other person. You are inevitably going to be in competition, right? However, depending on the person, most likely we typically feel jealous of people who have more success than us. And usually if they have more success than us, they also have other things, whether they are older or they have more experience. Like there's always something else under their belt besides the success that you need to focus on. The way you kind of need to go about it is you flip your mindset to see them as inspiration and potentially a friend. Now, I'm not saying you have to be friends with everyone that you feel jealous of. That probably will not be a healthy friendship, okay? I'm also not telling you to use that person solely for their success or their knowledge. At the same time, think how much value this person can bring into your life. I want you to zoom out and look at all of the aspects of this person that you can focus on. Instead of focusing on like the competitive nature, focus on what can you obtain from your interactions with this individual? What can you get out of this relationship, right? Not in a way to use them. You're not trying to use them. You're not trying to hurt them. Again, that's what we're trying to get away from, right? Jealousy is like that feeling that often leads to negative thoughts, negative actions. That's the reason why jealousy can be toxic and why it should be eliminated from your life. You want to view that person as almost as a support system. There is so much knowledge and life advice that you can extract from this person's life and that you can learn from them, and hopefully you can build such a strong connection to the point where you are mutually beneficial and helpful. See them as a connection and a source of inspiration rather than competition. This is just one example. Most of you are probably not starting a business with someone in the same niche, but it's just to give you like an idea of how you can kind of deal with that. Like there's so much knowledge to be gained there, and again, you can also use it as a way to inspire you, to motivate you to get a grip on your life and to become better in every way possible. Because when we're inspired and when we're motivated, that's a huge boost. There's discipline and then there's motivation. And what I love about motivation is it's like basically free energy. It kicks you into motion. It gets you going. If you turn that person into a source of inspiration for you, like you will inevitably go up in that particular area of your life. Like there's no doubt about it. It's just going to happen. You are now motivated and you have the energy you need to get your life together. Number 2, I want you to adopt the why not me mindset and also think about it in terms of abundance versus scarcity. This might sound a bit weird, but one of the things I like to say and think and write is why not me? If this is working out for someone else, why not me? I don't know about you, but I have a tendency to think about certain people's success as it being meant for them and only them. And it's such a weird thought pattern. Like, I don't know where this comes from, but I always like to question that. If it worked out for this person, then if anything, I treat it as like a sign from God, from the universe. Again, it's my source of inspiration, right? If God brings this person into my life, I can use this to my advantage. I'm being guided, basically. I'm being guided in the direction of what I want. I'm meeting people who have those things and coming into contact with them because this is meant for me as well. It's that abundance mindset. Other people's success doesn't take away from your own. If anything, doing, it actually brings you closer to achieving the same success or success in general, because you're now surrounding yourself with those types of people, indirectly or directly. So this can be like an influencer you're watching online, or it can be a person that you just met in real life. It doesn't matter. You're with those people, you're consuming content from them, or you're consuming conversations, and information and knowledge from this person. You're gonna go up. When you are constantly consuming content from people, which is obviously gonna be like the good parts of their lives, right? The highlights and fun aspects of life that most people, including myself, are showing online, this often leads to jealousy, envy, and FOMO, which is something, according to Harvard psychology instructor Natalie DiTillo, that includes two processes. So it's the fear of missing out and compulsive behaviors such as checking and refreshing sites to maintain these social needs. It is worth noting that FOMO has existed long before the invention of social media. So social media, is not the root cause, and that's why you need to stop blaming social media and take accountability. I believe that's the root cause. You can delete all your social media, you can do everything, but you're still not gonna fix the problem because you never got to the root of it, which is you and your thoughts and your mind. You need to learn to control that. And studies show that people get the same level of FOMO when a friend brings up an event or missed opportunity. So again, not just social media, this happens everywhere. However, here's the thing. FOMO can impact your mental and physical wellness, such as by triggering anxiety or feelings of loneliness, which can then cause fatigue, burnouts, and a lack of motivation. Again, lots of factors go into this: overconsumption of social media and, sometimes hanging out with the wrong crowd. But this is what it does to you. FOMO, envy, co-comparison, jealousy. It's not gonna do much to these people. I mean, if you believe in the evil eye, then sure. It's affecting you. You do not have enough time in your life. Life is too short for you to waste it on hating other people's success. Instead of focusing that energy on that, you shift it completely and you focus it on yourself. Number 3, influences. Think about what is influencing your mind beyond what is obvious. For example, I love Olivia Rodrigo's songs, okay? She is talented. She is a very good songwriter, and her song about jealousy, in my opinion, sounded really great. It's catchy. It's honestly fun to sing. But is it great for you to be singing those lyrics all the time? Here are the lyrics. Co-comparison is killing me slowly. I think too much about kids who don't know me. I'm so sick of myself. Rather be. Anyone else. Jealousy. When you sing these lyrics, especially again and again, you begin to internalize them. They are subconsciously affecting you. Your subconscious mind is absorbing them. Even if you consciously know them to not be true, or if you're just singing for fun, your subconscious mind is constantly absorbing all of this information and storing it. Is this really what you want coming into your mind? I want you to think about the songs that you listen to, the movies that you watch, the content you consume on social media. All of this is influencing you and your thought cycle. You need to pay more attention to the lyrics of the songs that you listen to and make sure that you are staying away from things that are excessively toxic to the point where they are ruining your life. And then of course that also applies to people. If you are surrounded by people who are encouraging you to feel this way, instead of breaking free of this hold that jealousy has on your mind, then they're not people you want to be surrounded with. Say you start saying something about someone and you're kind of talking about them a bit obsessively, clearly showcasing some signs of jealousy. Just hear me out. And this person next to you, your friend, it doesn't call you out on that. There are some people who will be like, okay, let's change the topic of the conversation. Let's focus on something else. Or there will be some people who will be like, oh yeah, and she did this and she did that. This kind of goes back to gossiping, which stems from jealousy. So pay close attention to all of the influences in your life that could be coming in between you and your journey. Start eliminating the people that are getting in the way of you adopting these new mindsets and really going through that mindset transformation. This one is a game changer. Understand the power of perspective. When you come across someone with boatloads of success, your first reaction shouldn't be, they don't deserve it, which it will be. We're very judgmental naturally. You need to reprogram your mind to react with, instead Instead, how did they do that? Where were they before this? Who were they before they achieved this level of success? One way we can think about this is Nepo babies. Nepotism, as we know, is apparent and thriving in every single industry, from acting to healthcare, you name it. I know that it can be so hard not to like judge someone immediately off the bat, but like ask yourself, what problems, challenges, and hardships has this person faced in their life? If you can't answer that question, then you don't know them well enough to be jealous of them. Most of the time, we look at someone outwardly and everything, all that jealousy stems from analyzing them, not even analyzing them, just looking at them externally. That's it. That's all you have to go about. Like, you need more information to actually figure out if they're worth your time or energy. I've been dabbling in the influencer industry for a couple months now, and I felt something really weird happening to me. I'm in the lifestyle, wellness, healthy living type of niche. Most people I see on my For You page who are in this niche are in their 20s, or early to mid 20s. And when I started consuming this content and trying to create it as well, I was like 17. So imagine that, a 17-year-old consuming content from a 25-year-old. This 25-year-old has their own fancy schmancy white-walled, white marble countertop apartment, and their leaves, their succulents, and their fake plants. They've got the wavy mirrors. They've got all of the that girl stuff, right? I think that the that girl trend overall is positive, and people's opinions will differ on that. But there was no doubt that I instantly began comparing myself to people who were like 8 years older than me. And I didn't realize that they were 8 years older than me, or like I knew, you know this stuff. You know this, but you don't think about it. Like we choose to ignore it. We choose to ignore all of these factors and let those negative thoughts settle in. And for what? I don't know. When you change your perspective from they don't deserve this or to how did they get this, and you really start diving into that aspect, like, okay, who is this person? How old are they? What experiences shaped their life so that they got to this point? When you start thinking about that, that's when you realize that your life cannot be compared to their life, because it is so indefinitely different. Like, I think you need to visually see it and map it out sometimes and really think about it. Like, yes, of course, it's a no-brainer that our lives are different, but we don't think about that when we compare ourselves to someone who has the thing that we want. Now, when I see a lifestyle influencer online with their fancy apartment, I make sure to check their age. 24, 25-year-olds living in their own apartments, engaged, ready to get married, and grocery shopping for themselves, and they were living their own life, They're grocery shopping and cooking and cleaning, and they're like a full-time adult. And then there was me, who literally just turned 18, comparing myself to them. For what? It doesn't make any sense. And I think that's the only way. This is it. If you're expecting some magic formula, you're not gonna find it. This is the only way. You have to backtrack. You have to catch yourself within your thoughts and your feelings. You will find that when you start to unravel little bits and pieces of this person's life more, and when you understand their hardships and the challenges they went through, you might even develop empathy for them. I know when I heard the stories of certain successful people, I went into shock. I was like, oh my goodness, this is insane. And then I would start to feel amazed that this person had made it, right? That source of inspiration type of mindset kicking in. And also, I would want to learn so much from that person, and I would find myself rooting for them after I kind of heard their story. Definitely consider that shift in your perspective and mindset, and it honestly, once you do it, it'll bring you a sense of peace. Just remember, somebody else's success does not take away from yours, and if anything, it's a sign that you can be successful too. Whether you believe in God or the universe or whoever your higher level faith is, you have to trust that. You have to trust that you are being guided, and you also have to trust in yourself.